Hello, this video is going to be about perception, which is a very important part of organizational behavior. Now, before we start with perception, it's necessary we understand what organizational behavior is all about. In simple words, organizational behavior is a field of study. It studies what people do in the organizations and how their behavior affects the performance of the organization. Now, the knowledge gained by studying this helps the organization work effectively. Perception is important in the study of organizational behavior because people's behavior is based on their perceptions of what reality is, not on reality itself. What is perception? Perception is a process by which individuals organize and interpret their sensory impressions in order to give meaning to their environment. Now, the information that we receive through our senses is organized and then it is interpreted in a way that it makes sense. What we perceive can be substantially different from objective reality. Perceptions vary from person to person. For example, many people might perceive Batman to be better than Superman, but there are people who perceive otherwise. How I perceive things would be different from how you perceive them. There are a number of factors that influences perception. Sometimes these factors shape the perception and sometimes they deform them. These factors can reside in the perceiver, in the object, or in the target that's being perceived, or in the conditions of the situation in which the perception is made. When you, being the perceiver, try to interpret something you see, your interpretation is basically influenced by your personal characteristics, such as attitudes, personality, motives, interests, past experiences, and the expectations you hold. For instance, you tend to perceive a decent looking guy with glasses and a decent haircut as a geek, though he might not be one. Your personal experiences influences you to come to such conclusion where in the reality things might be different. Perhaps your personal experience tells you that the guys like that are probably geek, so you expect him to be one, regardless the actuality. What we perceive is also affected by the characteristics of the target. Some things can just not be avoided because they stand out too much and they force their way through your senses. Loud people are likely to be noticed in a group than the quiet ones. A large pizza might make you a lot more happier than the smaller ones. We don't look at the target in isolation. So what's in the background influences our perception. We tend to group close things and similar things together. The situation matters too. The time when we see the object, the work setting, social setting, the light, heat, or any number of situational factors might influence our attention. For example, in the times of a really bad mood, everything that people do seems annoying and you might want to break their head. But when in a good mood, you respond to them positively. One moment enemies turn into brothers the next day, depending upon the situations. The target is the same, and so is the perceiver, but the situation is different. Hope that clears what perception is and what influences it. Thank you so much for watching.